There's a sense of hope for Bears fans, and it's because of this guy, Caleb Williams, a rookie quarterback that is certainly in a good situation for a first overall pick. We saw flashes of greatness from Caleb Williams in his preseason debut against the Bills. We saw that no-look screen pass to DeAndre Swift that went viral. It was everywhere on social media. Williams finished 95 yards on 4 of 7 passing. The Bears, Chris, are they getting into the playoffs?
I think they should, yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, so let's get to it. The Chicago Bears with a lot of expectations this season. We have Pete Prisco and Douzable with us. Right now, when you look at the betting markets, the Bears are about even money to make the postseason. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the entire division, the NFC North, which some people will argue is the best division in football. Some, not all, some.
NFC for sure.
No, I won't.
Okay, I've heard some people say it.
AFC North.
I have heard it. Not these guys, though, apparently. The Bears, you got to win, what, 9, 10 games to get into the postseason. Lige is going to WNL the schedules for every team in the division, and then Pete, you can have at it however you feel. How do you think the Bears do this season, Lige?
Me and Pete have kind of been on board with this. We think the Bears will be great next year. I think they're a year away. I have them going 8-9, and they could potentially even go 9-8. Does that get you into the playoffs in the NFC side? Maybe. You said it has 9 wins, 10 wins for sure will probably get you in. I think they go 8-9. I love what I saw from Caleb Williams in his NFL preseason debut. We talked about it a little yesterday. The fact that people had question marks, Pete, could he play within the offense? Could he play from within the pocket? He showed all that in that preseason debut, right? That 3rd and 12 completion to DJ Moore where he scans the field, looks right, first read, second read's not there, flips his hips, throws an absolute dot on a comeback route. That we knew he had mobility, right? Scamper for 13+ yards and a first down on a pivotal 3rd down, and then the off-platform throw on the bootleg. Being able to find Cole Kmet off script downfield for a big catch and run. If he continues to develop, Pete, this could be a team that does muddle around 9 or 10 wins, but I think they're a year away. Love what I saw from this defense last year. Was number 1 the last 6 weeks in points per game, interceptions, and rushing touchdowns given up. And they were number 1, Pete, against the run all season long. And they picked up right where they left off against that Buffalo team in preseason week 1, stifling the run. So I think next year will be their year. It is all going to depend on the development of Caleb Williams, though.
Lige, it's the preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what we get off of the preseason and training camp. You get a video of every throw any guy makes against air. Look, Caleb Williams didn't look lost, but he's playing vanilla football. And you hear reports that he hasn't been great at times in their camp, which is a little bit of a concern. He did get outside the pocket. He made a great throw. That you can't teach what he did outside the pocket. But again, it's all going to be what happens inside the pocket for him. How does he handle that? So I just say slow the roll. I think what I said, I thought they might be a playoff team this year. I said that last year before they even got him, remember? I think it's a year away. I really do. So
Will
8 or 9.
He be the best Bears quarterback of all time?
Yes.
It's not a high bar.
I mean, Sid Luckman is the greatest Bears quarterback of all time, but I think this guy, and that was a long time ago, even I didn't cover that, but this guy has a chance to be special.
All right, so you have the Bears going 8-9. Let's talk about the Packers because, Pete, this is a team that you were very bullish on last season. It was the youngest team to get a playoff win in years and years and years. Jordan Love just got paid. Lige, how do you think the season plays out for them?
I think they're going to have a lot of success this year. I believe they'll go 10-7 this year. And when you look at the schedule, to me, I believe it's tied 4th for strength of schedule as far as how hard it is. But I really love what I saw from Jordan Love the last 8-9 weeks of the season. I don't believe, Pete, anybody played with more confidence than Jordan Love. This is, we kind of talked about it earlier, the hardest division in the NFC. I think the hardest division of football is the AFC North. So it's going to be a gauntlet for this team. They're going to be playing the Detroit Lions, who I think is probably going to win the division. We just talked about how the Chicago Bears most likely will be improved. So it's tough. They have games, you know, against the Rams, who are going to be a really good team. They have the whole NFC West. So when you look at that, games against the 49ers and Dolphins and Lions, I think that's the gauntlet right there they got to get through if they want to contend for the NFC North. Also love the change they had on defense, bringing in Jeff Hafley. They're going to be more attacking style defense. And then one of the most underrated signings, Pete, Xavier McKinney. I can't believe the Giants let him walk out the door. They had issues in their secondary last year. Jair Alexander wasn't healthy. When healthy, to me, is a top 3 corner. You pair him with Xavier McKinney, watch out. This team is going to be good again.
I think you're a little low on them, to be honest with
I know you have them winning the division.
Of course I do. Of course I do. I mean, I just think what I saw from Love last year, that guy's ready to really explode. But not only that, he didn't have his receivers together the entire year. None of them. None of them. I mean, they were in and out of the lineup. And you know,
except for Dobbs. Dobbs was like the only constant.
But Watson was in and out, and he's had hamstring issues all year long. He's going to be back in the lineup healthy and gives them a deep threat. They say they don't have a #1 wide receiver. They just have a bunch of good ones. The offensive line will be good because that's what the Green Bay Packers do. They make, you know, average players into good offensive linemen. You go to the other side of the ball, I'm with you. They're going to be much more aggressive. This team is winning the division. I think they're the best team in that division.
And I think a change-up, they'll be a little bit more physical in the run game with Josh Jacobs than they were with Aaron Jones. Now, Aaron Jones is a heck of a running back, but I think as far as running in between the tackles, Josh Jacobs gives them a different element.
Don't take the ball out of the quarterback's hands. Run when you need to run. Don't make it a focal point of the offense.
We started this by kind of talking about how the Bears haven't had a good quarterback ever. Well, the Lions really have never been in the position that they're going to be in this season as not the team that everybody's rooting for, the up-and-comer. They're the hunted now. They're the team that people are going to be gunning for. So what do you see from the Lions this season?
I got them repeating as division champs. And when you look at this schedule, Jared Goff, you know this, Pete, when he plays in good weather in the Dome, he's almost impossible to beat. And when you look at this schedule, there's only 3 games that are not in the Dome for Jared Goff. So that bodes well for the Detroit Lions. The biggest issue for them last year, Pete, was the secondary, more specifically corner. Well, they kind of rectified that this year, getting Terrion Arnold in the first round, Enoch Raystraw. They doubled down and got him in the second round. But getting Carlton Davis before the draft was massive because Aaron Glenn likes to play man coverage. That is where Carlton Davis relishes, right? That's what he wants to do. He wants to get in the receiver's face and be physical corner. So they literally turned a weakness into a strength in regards to fixing that secondary. Love how they locked up all their corner pieces. Penei Sewell, we've talked about this, Pete, has taken over as the best right tackle in all of football. Amon-Ra St. Brown has proven that he's not only an all-pro receiver, but he's a true #1 receiver. So I love that they locked him up and Jared Goff. Again, Jared Goff doesn't lose in good weather and in the Dome, and the Lions only have 3 games outside of the Dome. I have them repeating as NFC North champs.
I don't. And I think they play the first place schedule. That's always tough. You now are a marked team. You weren't a marked team last year. You are now. That's tough to handle. They have issues. And we talk about wide receiver. Jamison Williams, and I think he has the potential, but he has to be a big-time threat there to go outside with St. Brown in the middle of the field. Then you also have pass rush issues. You talk about playing a lot of man. It's great to have those corners and you can cover people, but who's the other edge rusher?
Oh, they're going to bring pressure now.
But who's the other edge rusher? And so that's a major hole for him as well. I just think they're going to be in the playoffs. I think they make the playoffs. I just think Green Bay's a better team.
Of course, we have a fantasy football segment on tap, and Jamison Williams is one of Jamie Eisenberg's sleepers.
I love him. I love his ability.
They said he's looked really good in camp so far.
You got to show it. You got to see it. You got. And then who's the third receiver? That's another issue.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, tight end. They got Laporta.
Yeah, well, they need, but you still need another receiver, though.
Finally, let's talk about the Vikings. This is a team, of course, more of a long shot to win the division. And to your point, Pete, I saw so much buzz around J.J. McCarthy and how great he was that I almost forgot it's Sam Darnold who is going to be the starting quarterback for them. Lige, how do you see this season shaking out for Minnesota?
Yeah, to me, it's almost it's not a rebuild because when you look at their offense, Pete, it's one of the most complete offenses in all of football, except for the quarterback position, which is the most important position in all of football. And Sam Darnold, for all intents and purposes, has looked really good throughout the preseason. As Pete would say, it's the preseason. You got to temper your expectations. I think the big question mark is when will J.J. McCarthy see the field? And if you pull up the schedule, this is a gauntlet week 2 through 8. I mean, look at this, Pete. 49ers, Texans, Packers, Jets in London in the bye. You know what? After the bye, you get the Detroit Lions, and then you got at the Rams. I could see an L for all of those games. And will we see J.J. McCarthy maybe by week 7 or 8? That literally could happen. I talked about it. When you look at this offense, right, 2 bookend offensive tackles. They have the best receiver in Justin Jefferson. Another good receiver, Jordan Addison. T.J. Hawkinson is a really good tight end. The biggest question mark is the quarterback position, right? And also, they have a question mark at corner, too. Byron Murphy, who's going to play opposite of him? They even brought Stephon Gilmore in for a visit this week, Pete. He didn't sign, so they've been trying to bring some veterans in because we know Brian Flores likes to play a lot of man coverage, and that's where they struggled last year. So this is a team that I think is going to be 4th place in this division, but they're a tailor-made offense. It's all going to come down to can the quarterback play adequate football.
Yeah, this is a lesson on if you have one, you're okay. If you don't, you're in trouble because they don't know if they have one. And if Sam Darnold starts, Who knows how long he stays in there? Is J.J. McCarthy the long-term answer? You're right. He did some good things in the preseason opener, but he's playing against bouncers and bartenders. You can't tell.
Bouncers and bartenders?
Well, most of them are going to be looking for jobs in about 2 weeks. That's what they're playing. Those backups, that's what they are.
Wild statement.
That's what they are. And so it's hard to evaluate these young quarterbacks truly until they get into somebody who's actually scheming against them a little bit, and you're playing against real players.
All right, Pete Prisco, Lineman Douzable. Pete, how does it feel to be back in studio?
Love it. Love it. Let's go. I'm ready for the season.
You'll be losing that tan pretty soon because you're going to be under these studio lights.
Yeah, well,
again tomorrow you're coming in.
These are actually pretty hot. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was on the road in training camp and I heard people complaining about the heat in here.
Oh, it's been hot.
It was hot, okay? I know. Maybe like Tiny Violin when you're in Miami Gardens.
It's nice now, though.
It is nice.
It feels good here today.
Yeah. All right, Pete, Lineman, we appreciate it with their NFC North predictions. Pete going with the Packers and Lineman taking the Lions. Of course, that means football season is almost here, and you can watch the NFL on CBS starting September 8th, and of course streaming on Paramount Plus as well.